Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Scaling SaaS podcast brought to you by Zeno Digital Consulting Group. I'm your host, Brad Kavanaugh. Each week, we sit down with SaaS leaders driving growth, innovation, and customer success with one goal to uncover what's really working so you can scale smarter. Today's episode is about something I think every SaaS leader should be paying attention to. It's that quiet shift in software as a service, what your customers actually want now. So for years, SaaS was about adding features, raising capital, scaling fast. The market definitely has matured. Customers are more selective, dealing with subscription fatigue, and care less about feature lists and more about outcomes, simplicity, and trusted partnerships. That's why I'm really excited about today's guest. So joining me is Jamie Pritz, CTO of Everwash, a fast growing membership platform helping car wash partners turn one-time customers into loyal subscribers. Everwash shows how software can power reoccurring value, reduce friction, and really create loyalty in an unexpected industry. Jamie, thanks for being here and welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. Excited to be here.
So, just to kind of get the get the throat clearing going and just kind of give everybody before we get to the theme, can you give us a quick overview of Everwash and the problem that you're solving for car wash owners?
So Everwash actually started. We were the first in the industry for car wash membership, and our founders like to tell the story about it. Really was kind of born out of the gym membership industry. We've all been solicited for gym memberships, and they really saw an opportunity to do this at car washes. So we actually started in the Philly-based area. We were the first in the market, and it was really about that customer experience. We've all washed our cars. You kind of go there. It's, you wash your car, you go away, and there really isn't any loyalty there. It's more, it's on my way to work. So giving those, especially those initial customers, that ability to have a membership platform, they immediately see not only, monthly recurring revenue, which is helpful for a car wash. I'm sure you can imagine seasonality.
Yeah.
It helps them, kind of predict what their revenue is going to be, but it also, retained all of those customers because now they want to go to the car wash and use that experience. And we can touch upon that later. There are many different experiences at a car wash. So we strive to make each one of them easier for the member as well as the car wash owner.
Yeah, it's interesting. It makes me think of kind of like when Amazon came out with Amazon Prime, right? Like, so once you pay for it, now it's like, well, I'm just going to buy everything from Amazon because I'm already paying for, this free shipping idea. So yeah, once you get the membership, you're just going to keep going to that car wash. So yeah, that's really interesting. So when you think about I guess the car wash owners and the customers that you work with every day, like what do you think, what's the biggest shift that you've seen in their expectations over the last few years?
Especially over the last few years, and certainly not even trying to predict the next couple years. Um, Really, it started off well, Everwatch does have a service component. We do have a large, part of our differentiator, we believe, is our human touch. We are easy to get a hold of, or you can always get a hold of a human being, and we're there to guide our business customers. Um, so one of the things that we constantly get pressure on, which is kind of a maturation, of our product as well as the industry, is, we have tech solutions, for example, and if those tech solutions go down, that's a real problem because all of their members can't use it. So you kind of have this world where a tech solution goes down, someone has to call us, and um, you know what they're demanding of us, and what we want to deliver, of course, is more of a proactive understanding of when our equipment has gone down, and a
Mm.
proactive remedy, of course. So kind of across the board, what we're seeing is they don't want to come into our portal anymore. They don't want to have to call us. They just want our stuff to work. and they want signals when things are going wrong, when they need to be aware of something, or when they, when they need information. So they want us to tell them that, feed it to them where they are, as opposed to having to be on our portal or open our app to some view. They don't want to do that. So it's more this hands off, just work, just do the thing you're supposed to do.
Referring to the owners or the people getting their car washed,
So,
or both?
well, both, absolutely both. The owners, the owners are in the business to run a car wash. Loyalty is great for them because they get extra revenue, they get loyalty, they have face to face with their customers at the car washes where human beings, work at a car wash. Um, so especially for them, they want to run their business without having to worry about Everwash. They just want Everwash to do the thing that they signed up for.
Right.
Members are a little bit different. I mean, I suppose you could relate it to the gym, but members, to be part of membership, kind of accept that they have to download an app.
Sure.
And our goal for them, as well as the car wash, is to make sure that that app is as simple as possible, because the engagements, how you engage a car wash, is not always very simple. And you're playing with people, POS systems. You're playing with, equipment makers who make it very difficult for you to kind of insert yourself into that system. So our challenge is to make that all very easy, all very, very simple. Otherwise we don't retain the customer either. And then we lose members for our customer.
Right. Right. No, I think that kind of transitions into really the topic of this, right? So I mentioned subscription fatigue, right? Like, what do you think customers really complain about most, when they consider canceling, and then how do you address that in like actual practice? Do you deal with the owners? Do you reach out to the members directly? Like, what do they complain about most, and what are you seeing in that space?
The interesting thing, especially on the member side, is, and I'll use Shopify as an example. Um, I recently was working I recently used a new product, and their website, had some issues. And what I realized was, it wasn't that customer. It was the underlying product. I mean, probably shouldn't. It was the underlying product that really was exhibiting the problem. It was hard for me to complain about the customer experience, because I understood that they were relying on a platform that everyone else is relying on. So with our customers, it's kind of the same thing. A lot of the complaints we get aren't actually about our product. They can
Mhm.
be about our product, but there's a mix. It's oftentimes the actual customer, and then it's sometimes our product. So weeding through those complaints, the car wash was down, or the thing scratched my car. Those are the types of complaints that we get on our
Right.
platform, which have nothing to do with us. And I imagine, platforms like Shopify have the same problem. Um, the way that we deal with those issues is, we'll often get them on our app store reviews. We'll often get them on our in-store reviews, and part of our service is we actually have a call center as a service. So we have our own call center. So when customers have a problem, they actually call our call center, and we act on behalf of the car wash. So oftentimes it's, you just have to
Oh,
remedy it with giving them a discount, giving them time off, or communicating with the car wash owner. And that's another example of automations that that we're trying to build into our platform, is giving the car wash owner a signal that something went wrong with their car wash, that they thought was something wrong with the app, for example.
right. No,
Yeah.
that makes a lot of sense. It's almost like you're a B2C company and a B2B company, and like you wear both hats. So that I'm,
It is,
I'm sure that can be challenging.
it's a constant identity crisis. It really is. Like, you go to do something, and you're like, wait a second, that's not in the best interest of our actual customer, or vice versa. So you're constantly having to play to both, and make sure that both can, both parties are happy.
Yeah. So when you kind of thinking about the partner side of it, not the member side of it. So like when you go out to, look for a new partner, um, like what's the most convincing thing that you can point to kind of shows them the value of
ARR.
your platform?
Yeah, ARR or monthly recurring revenue. It's actually we're not on an ARR model, not with our members. So monthly recurring revenue is a compelling argument. It really is. It's hard to look past it. Um, that's kind of true of the industry. I mean, we're the dominant player in the market, but we're not the only player in the market anymore. So there are alternatives that they can look at when it comes to annual recurring revenue. So to bolster that, to kind of buttress that, our service offering is really kind of where we lean on. So the POS systems, for example, car wash POS systems are their own thing. They'll often have membership baked in. As a matter of fact, a lot of them had membership baked in when we came into the industry.
Hmm.
And what we found is what they do is they hand you this thing, they hand you this SaaS platform, and then they walk away and they're like, good luck with that. What we
Right.
found is you need that central expertise. You need to help them understand how to price their car washes, how to price their membership packages, how to sell, selling on lot, or especially if you're like an IBA, an unmanned an IBA, telling them, helping them understand how to sell and actually get members is where we come in and really show our value.
Sorry, and I did you say IBA?
Oh yeah, IBA is in-bay automatic. I throw these terms around. I forget that not everyone knows what they are. I certainly didn't when we started here. You have self-serves where you spray off your own car. IBAs like C stores or convenience stores. You pull in and the thing just goes around your car, and then you have tunnels
Yeah.
where you go, you just drive through, and it pulls you through.
Yeah,
IBAs are
yeah.
typically.
And you get memberships to the IBAs?
Mhm. So that's
Oh.
usually through aggressive signage or geofenced marketing. It is difficult if you don't have a human being standing there selling. It is very challenging to sell people on membership.
Yeah, and that kind of leads me to again this kind of these two hats that you wear. So, I mean, obviously, MRR it is compelling, but when you think about adding new partners, like what is the hardest part of your sales cycle right now? Is it just simply getting leads? Is it converting them? Is it ramping them up? After like what do you where do you find that the most difficulty now? Because I mean, obviously, like you said, going in and saying, "Hey, here's a scenario where your MRR could be X," it probably is a fairly easy sell. But what are you finding is the challenges?
So there's a lot of pieces to that. Um, Number one is our niche, our target demographic is mom and pop car washes. We want small to medium sized ownership groups, or we want the mom and pops who are really struggling with their car wash. The larger companies are being bought up by PE firms who have their own life cycle. They have their own membership platforms, or they've got the money to build it themselves. So
Sure.
just focusing on our target market and understanding that there is that layer that is constantly encroaching on the industry. Um, Honestly, one of the hardest sells is getting them over the misconception, which we would call it for them, it's very real, that they're being abused. So the only real way that we found to make a membership, and for every industry membership, how you sell membership and what it delivers is going to be completely different. For the car wash industry, what we found is the only way you're really going to get traction is if you offer unlimited. So that means that, I mean, we do have a limit. You can only wash one a day typically. Some car washes will allow more than that, but you only allow one a day. But still, that means you can wash your car 30 times a month. So it is hard for a car wash owner to get over the risk of that, of like all their members coming in and washing their cars every day.
Right.
Uh,
Right. Every
the
day they've
reality,
got, it's basically free car washes every
yeah,
day.
you've lost money if that's the case. There are some
Right.
people who do. There are some people who wash 30 times a month. but it is the minority. Like it's an insignificant component of it. So getting them over that fear, getting them over the worry that um, if you get a membership, you can only wash your own car with it. You can't just wash every car you have.
Right.
Once a month car. So getting over the worry that you're not going to go wash your best friend's car under your platform, or your wife's car, or your kid's car. Um, so it's really just getting them over the fear of membership and understanding that it is great for loyalty. Customers do we have many cases where customers like to be able to come in and be seen.
Mhm.
The attendant knows who they are. They know their names. So just getting them over that is really hard. The ARR part, once they see it, is a no brainer. Or the
Yeah.
MRR. I got ARR stuck in my head.
Yeah, yeah, no, I can totally get that. Um, and so do you have like a sales team that's, like cold calling a bunch of mom and pop, car
Yeah.
washes out there? I mean, how are you getting leads?
I mean, they do, but we get a lot of our leads from the shows that we go to. We attend all the major car wash shows. There's one actually in Atlantic City in a couple of days, I guess. Yeah, in about a week or two. And then we do the one in Vegas, and I think the other one kind of roams. But we get a lot of our leads from car wash shows. We get a lot of our leads from car wash communities like Talk Car Wash. And then, we of course have relationships with the distributors. So the distributing the cleaning materials, equipment, and they'll give us leads as well. So we get our leads, from legit sources. So it's not a lot of cold
Interesting.
call.
Yeah, I never would have thought of that. Like the equipment or the materials, the supplies, they're all integrated and you can, work with them. Yeah, that's interesting. I never really thought of that. Um, what do you think, from a kind of a let's maybe shift away from sales and, from a kind of a customer support kind of onboarding perspective, um, what do you feel like is the kind of the number one support ticket that you guys get like right after someone signs up, whether it's the member or the actual partner, something that you guys have had to deal with and handle on a regular basis?
Um, I mean, I don't know that I really know the answer to that question. I don't know that we've, I would know, put it that way. If we typically had a number one disposition after we signed up a car wash, I would know about it because I would be required to fix it. So
Right.
yeah, so I've never heard of any case where there's a commonality where where they have the same problem. We're actually really easy to sign up with. If you're a tunnel and you don't have unmanned equipment, we can be up and running in 20 minutes.
Wow.
If
It's
you have
that's
manned equipment, if you have unmanned equipment, we usually either have to work with your POS provider to integrate, or we have a proprietary device that we install on your drive chain that drives the car wash.
because it's if you have manned equipment, that's a much easier
Yep,
installation. So you literally sign up and then be offering memberships to their customers almost instantaneously.
yep. And it is a digital solution. I mean, I'm not selling Everwash. I mean, I'm certainly selling Everwash, but I don't mean to explain their entire platform. It
all,
is a
all,
digital
all of
solution.
our car wash owner viewers out there that are watching this,
The attendant has an app, and the member has an app, so they can talk to each other. So it's not just a human being just letting, because human beings, and any establishment that has human beings working there has a risk of human beings also being part of the problem. So
yeah, that's really interesting. Um, what do you think? This is kind of like maybe a future looking question. Um,
my favorite.
yeah, what do you think? How do I phrase this? So, what's one thing that you wish that your teams could do today that you might be expecting them to be able to do, like, say, 5 years from now? I mean, the technology, obviously, AI is a huge, thing now that's just getting integrated into every single thing that you see. It seems like every piece of software now has some sort of AI thing. Obviously, that's just one example, but like, how do you see this evolving? Knowing, I mean, you're obviously involved in technology. You're a CTO. This is where you live. What do you see the future looking like that they might be able to do, say, 5 years from now?
Uh, so the way that I look at it is how do I say this? Um, like I think the things that the industry is doing right now with AI are short sighted. And and I think in many cases necessarily so because it's really difficult to um, move technology, especially when there's money involved. Um, and, you kind of said everyone is kind of integrating. Everyone's adding, co-pilots and chatbots to their
Right.
platforms. It's not. That's not the future. That's just a way to get some immediate value out of something that we don't really fully understand in aggregate. I think, of course, some people do. Some people are very imaginative in how they use AI. But the way that I see the industry changing, and the way that I think it has to change, kind of to meet these customer demands, which are going to, I mean, we think they expect simplicity now over what it was, 5 years ago, where they just kind of accept that there's friction in any platform. That friction, the increased demand for that friction to completely go away is what we're seeing. So I think in 5 years we're not looking at apps anymore. We're not looking at dashboards anymore. Um, and I don't mean to be like the dreamy hype AI. That's not where I'm going. I just think that it'll be the car. The car itself will be the wallet. So when a member pulls into a car wash, the car will just be able to talk, whether it's agentically or through some API integration. That doesn't really matter. I think it's the car that's just going to talk to it. The member won't even have an app. The attendant won't need an app. And the dashboards probably, unless we decide to take on a POS, which we are not, we don't have one yet. Um, so unless we decide to build or buy one, I think we'll be very integrated with their POS. And there really just there won't be any setup. It'll just be this POS, you know, configured to talk to our servers through whatever medium.
Right.
I think that's really where this has to land. I think dashboards and portals are dead. So
Hmm. That's interesting. I mean, you obviously see specifically Apple, and Android Auto, you see those two companies trying to, integrate themselves into automakers. Some of them are not happy about it. They're not adopting it. Some of them said they would adopt it, but they've gone back on it. And
well, it's
so
hard.
it'll be
It's
interesting.
hard to compete, and it's hard to maintain your value prop when you're part of a larger chain like that. Like it's scary. It's really scary.
Yeah, I've always wondered that. That is a question that I've wondered myself. Is it's clearly something that consumers want. They want to be able to plug in their phone. They want access to their own music, contacts, etc. Um, but yet you have and so you have literally the phone manufacturers are like, yeah, we can do this. You can literally have them. It'll be great for the person that buys your car. But then you have car manufacturers like, no, 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 no. I don't want to lose control over the infotainment system that I'm building. So I'm going to basically spend an enormous amount of resources, capital to build my own thing. Literally, but you've already got it out there. You have that have done it. So I've never understood that mentality. And again, I'm not in that industry, but um, that, and I guess it is just simply a control thing. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
Absolutely, it's a control thing. But like I said, you almost have to if you try to like even Everwash. Like as we take on competitors. Well, I'll give you another example. I'm kind of an anomaly in the industry. I've only ever worked for two companies. I'm 53 years old. I spent my first 21 years working for the same company. I built our product, took it global. It was our flagship product, and it was best in class. But by the time I left, it was a dime a dozen. So it didn't
Right.
matter how great I built it, didn't matter how well it performed or what it did, anybody could do it. So that's kind of where we're sitting with the car wash industry as well, is we're ahead of the game and we believe we have a differentiator, but the core of what we do, the ARR, the membership platform, the app is all becoming commoditized. So car washes, for example, struggle to embed us in their systems because um, there are so many other players out there that they can put in there, or they're kind of at the place where they can kind of build it themselves. They're not quite there yet, but I think within the next couple of years, it'll be realistic that it would be very easy to build a membership platform. So even from a car wash, aside from the fact that money drives everything, of course, I mean from a auto manufacturer, to embed something in your system means you've lost control, which means you've lost the ability to innovate and enhance. Um, so so I think that's kind of where the industry is in general. If you're looking at it from a macro, from a macro position, it's just how do you pick one when there are so many other options out there which are completely, not in our industry, of course. There's nobody that can compete with us, but everything becomes commoditized.
Yeah. So what does I mean, like, what is your differentiation, from some of these other, you know, you said you're not the only one you in this industry. I mean, what differentiates you from your competitors?
We have dominance in the market, so we have a fairly comprehensive customer base, but we've also had more time to bolt on all of the things and to discover all of the things. You wouldn't believe where these systems can fail. It's such a simple system, but they can fail in so many different places. And we've had the advantage of learning them. So a lot of the competitors, for example, they come in and they promise, and they immediately fail because they didn't account for the things that we've been able to account for. So we got the advantage of being able to go through that POC, MVP stage with all of our car wash owners. They understood that and they helped us grow. Well, they no longer want to do that. They just want something that works now. And we have the advantage of having that. And we have a comprehensive solution. So we have camera-based solutions to help you observe your vehicles. We have lots of measures in place for fraud prevention. Um, Lots of things that these competitors are learning the hard way, just as we did. So we're just ahead of the game. And I'm under no delusion that we're going to stay ahead of the game. We have to stay competitive and we have to keep innovating. But where we are right now is a good position.
Not to disclose any, like, roadmap or anything, but how are you innovating? I mean, what do you see that, I mean, besides we talked about it a little bit about kind of, where you see it kind of long term, but from a product perspective, from a CTO's perspective, how are you innovating? I mean, is it is it all just customer feedback? Is it no, you're just coming up with features? Like, where do you see that?
We're shifting our strategy, our customer engagement, our car wash engagement strategy on one end. We're moving away from, and I've said this once or twice before, we're moving away from um, them having to come ask us to us just telling them. So us just saying, hey, your membership went down by 20 last week, or your membership has declined over the course of this month. Here's some things to help you get back on stage or get back on course. So we're just kind of moving towards signals. That's one example of many things that the car wash owner really needs to know. And in the car wash space too, a lot of car wash owners aren't in this because they want to be hands on. They're expecting just a side hustle that just runs a recurring revenue stream that just runs on its own. They don't want to be part of it. So we're trying to tailor to those because we are going to mom and pops, or we are tailoring to mom and pops. We're tailoring to those by making sure they have the information they need when they need it. They don't have to come to us. That's a big shift. It's a mind shift for everybody, even within our own company, because we're so used to dashboards. We're so used to going to portals. I'd like to say we have a strong AI plan. We do have an AI strategy, but it is like I said, it's difficult to move systems, and
Yeah.
especially to change people's experiences. So everything that we do has it doesn't work if the customer. So we're B2B, but if the customer doesn't accept it, it fails
Yeah.
immediately. So on the customer side of things, we are we're slimming down our app, making it super easy. I mean, I think we are announcing this, so we are also adding additional ways for car washes to engage larger customers. So I come from a fleet background. That was my first
Mm,
21 years working with fleet. Fleets are huge, and car wash from an expensing perspective is a real problem for large fleets. These salespeople have to wash their cars; they're mandated to do it. So we're giving the car wash as a way to secure that business, especially local municipalities. But then, I had Mark right down the street from me. If you can get Mark on board with your car wash, you've got a win-win. Mm. So it's really just for both our customers and both for both our customers, I should say, our member and our customers. It's really about just making this as easy as possible. Um, our AI dream, of course, is that you can just talk to your phone and say, "Hey, I want to wash my car today," or embed it in your car and just have the car pay for it itself.
that's from
um,
a product
yeah.
point. How are you guys? Are you? Or have you been thinking about how AI would be like from an operational standpoint, from like just internal operations, automation,
Oh,
integration,
absolutely.
anything like?
Absolutely. So we're stressing everyone. As a matter of fact, I have an exercise that I'm doing with the entire team about AI to get them off of this world where they think it's just useful for analyzing spreadsheets or recomposing your emails.
Mhm.
So leads, for example, using automations like N8N, really helping them understand how we can automate this through language. Um, we want to operationalize that at a production capacity, but there are other concerns that we're just not up to speed yet on. And we're constantly looking for partners to help us with that. But what we're finding is everyone's in the same boat. Everyone is learning about prompt injection and how to make sure your prompts are secure. Some
Right.
people claim that they have it, but really, so it's kind of a messy world. But internally, that's where we're kind of limiting it. We're trying to build our automations internally using natural language to understand our data. We found a lot of value in that so far. I can just feed it a schema and give it read only access to my database, and it can do amazing things. Just amazing things.
Yeah, I mean, and that's really the key, right? Is the data, right? And I think there's similarities to basically you being able to offer car washes features because you've got all the data, right? So then, like you said, I mean, instead of logging into a portal, like you're the one doing the analysis and being way more proactive. It's kind of similar with, internal, right? I mean, you've just got to find that way to corral all that structured data and unstructured data. I mean, unstructured data is going to be always the biggest challenge, but being able to corral all that and actually let AI, use it appropriately. And I think that's always been a real challenge is we go into, at least from my perspective, can we go into a company to help them? And then we look at their data and we're like, okay, like this might be a chat. This might be a little bit difficult, because that's always going to be the foundation of any, AI deployment is data.
Right. Right. Giving it access to data and whatever knowledge we have, kind of embed tribal knowledge. The things that our salespeople know, things that our salespeople know are like you wouldn't even know that half of the things that they know were even a thing to know. So getting that down into a system and letting the AI kind of influence them or guide them on how to communicate those messages, it is just so many things that we can do that I like I said, I think the industry is kind of like, I don't know if you remember this. I'm not going to try to date you here, but in 95, 96, when Netscape was first coming out, the trend
The
when I was
trend.
building my first, the trend was in internet malls. It was the only thing people knew how to do. It was they took their knowledge, said brick and mortar, and that must work also on the internet. That's where I kind of think we are with AI. We're looking at this as just add a chatbot to your website. Well, that's not what this is. This is a whole new paradigm. It's a tectonic shift.
Not to
We're
say that
feeling.
can't help companies, right? I mean,
Oh, of course.
that's a good start, but you're right. I mean, long term, that's not going to be where this is, and I think we're seeing such a increase in velocity of these models. That I mean, just from what was it 2 years ago when OpenAI delivered ChatGPT? Was it only two? I can't even remember.
Dude, I was working on it 2 years ago, but it feels like 2 years ago because I don't think anybody was paying attention. Nobody was paying attention before that, except if you weren't in tech, you weren't paying attention.
Right. So, I mean,
Right.
obviously, machine learning and all that has been going on for ages. I mean, but like the consumer level LLM that I mean, just
Right.
exploded on the scene, and just from that moment until today, the growth has been exponential in its own capabilities, right? And so, like 6 months from now, a year from now, 2 years from now, it's really kind of hard to grasp how it's going to integrate into everybody's. Yeah, it's
It
gonna
really
be
is.
incredible.
Security is a nightmare with it. Like they haven't figured out how to make they haven't figured out how to federate security from end to end. Um, and there's no standards. So there's no standard way for agents to talk to each other. They're evolving, but it is, you're right. It's kind of the same place. Um, but we're trying to imagine what that world's going to look like without wasting a lot of time on the things in the middle. That's kind of my, yeah, take on it, at least.
No, I think that's spot on. This has actually been a really fascinating conversation. I think we're about at time. I want to love keeping these to about 30 minutes.
Okay.
So I really appreciate you joining with me today. It's been super insightful. I love, again, this kind of shift where it's not just about piling on features, right? It's really about trust, loyalty, making it easy. And I think you guys are just obviously a huge an example of that. Um, so for the listeners and viewers out there, if you want to kind of check out Everwash and how they're helping car wash owners grow through memberships, you can get them at everwash.com, or you can connect with Jamie, directly on LinkedIn. It's Jamie Pritz. He's the CTO. And finally, if you enjoyed this episode, make sure you subscribe and leave a review and share it with someone else who's building or scaling a SaaS business. So, Jamie, I really appreciate it. Thanks for being here. It's been a real pleasure.
I appreciate it too. Thank you.